Aurora forced the community to learn and adapt like no other hero before her release. She shook things up a lot, but we've now learned to deal with her. There are new cards and just general the strategy. Don't group up around her. The community knows we can deal with that. Here now, though, she is still viable. She still is viable, and this build here hopes to emphasize that fact. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a hero building guide. I am Sylphin. Now, to start off the guide, Aurora can be played in the safe lane, believe it or not, as a support. Nathan Mooney, one of the community managers for Epic Games, he apparently plays Aurora off lane quite well. It does exist, as she has some good tools in her kit to do that. She absolutely thrives, however, in the off lane. That is where you're going to play her most of the time. And you know what? You get your health, you get your health potion and a healer token, just like I got here in this off lane. Now, I simply forgot that I had a circlet of health here in the deck. So what you would do is get your circlet of health here in the early game to help regenerate your health and the health of your carry. Now, the very first ability that you're going to get in either lane is going to be your E. It's going to be your Hoarfrost. It creates a ring around you that freezes people in place if they touch it and deals a pretty significant damage. Anywhere from 75 at level 1 to 225 at level 4. 0.6 power scaling. It can hurt. Why do you get this first? Simply because you can stop the minion wave under towers. You can freeze people, under just like that. And you can help, more importantly here, help people get away from ganks like this. I had used my Hoarfrost already. All what I had to do was put down my Hoarfrost. They both would have been stuck. It would have gave my Twin Blast a little time to go away. It is a very crucial ability that you have to be careful with using. You have to get used to, there's a little bit of an animation to make it happen, and it's not that large. So you have to be at least beside somebody, running in the same direction or in front of them in order for your Hoarfrost to work. Otherwise, it's not going to work. There, I got lucky, but you have to be very careful. The second ability I get here in this here in the safe lane is my right click. That is that is your Frozen Simulacrum. What it does is it puts a simulacrum, a kind of a copy of yourself that will tank towers and minions unless you go and attack them and re-aggro. This is great for underneath this tower. I can do something with this Feng Mao, who's Decker X2, by the way, fantastic other YouTuber here. Please go and check him out. Absolutely, please go check him out. Please, 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 please. I can go in there, root him in place, deal some damage, and then use my Frozen Simulacrum to de-aggro the tower. Fantastic. That's why I'm choosing to get it here. The last ability that you can use, there's tons of other use for Frozen Simulacrum that we'll talk about later. The last ability we get is Glacial Charge. What this does is you charge anywhere from 1200 unit range to begin with, or 1500 unit range when it's level 4. You charge that distance, dealing a little bit of damage, really not much, anywhere from 40 to 160, only 0.35 power scaling. It can just be part of your rotation. And it's a great gap closer or an escape tool. So Aurora is very elusive when played properly. Absolutely. Very, very elusive. You can use that to engage, and it will be a very crucial part of kind of how we play Aurora in terms of especially her ultimate and stuff like that. As you can see there, I used my Hoarfrost on the Feng Mao and the rest of the thing. The tower started to engage me, but I used my Frozen Simulacrum to de-aggro and get away. You can use it as well to dodge enemy abilities. If there is a Grim ult, coming at you, you can at the last moment get out of it You can, you know, you can leap up. You can leap up out of a Murdoch snipe. There's lots of things that you can dodge. A Richter pull, stuff like that with your Frozen Simulacrum. It's damn good. It's only limited by your skill 100%. Now, as a support, I chose to get my ward not upgraded because A, I didn't have 3 CP, but get another healer token. In the off lane, you're going to do the same thing. Get that, probably that ward, but primarily that second healer token. Really absolutely going to help you with your sustain. Just stay there. Keep your tower alive. Get CP. Get hero experience, which is very, very important. Now here is a great use of my crowd control to punish somebody that's overextending. This Bellica's really aggressive. I'm like, okay. I walk right up to her. Again, you got to be right up to her. Use my Hoarfrost. She doesn't get the damage, which is very smart of her, but I still get out of there with my life, and the Twin Blasts duel it out. As you can see, you can punish people that overextend by really making sure you land that Hoarfrost. I had to walk right up to that Bellica in order to actually make my Hoarfrost work. If you can have Twitch reflexes, you can dodge stuns. There is an example right there where I dodged that stun that might have been my life. So this is both a fail and a success. As you can see, I'm gonna showcase why you need to use Hoarfrost properly. I don't get that Bellica whatsoever, but we use our ultimate, which is fantastic. Look at how much damage that does, and roots that Twin Blast in place a ton. Her ultimate is fairly complicated. It takes, there's a short animation until you apply a debuff on people. After a very short period of time, they freeze in place. Now, they are frozen for a short period of time, and then they explode on damage. But when they explode when they explode, that explosion also spreads to other people who then are frozen for a much smaller amount, but then explode themselves. As you can see here, I was very, very aggressive. I was trying to be risky, trying to get that Bellica, but I couldn't. Once those people explode, it stops spreading around, you know, on nearby enemies. So if you can manage to get a enemy, if you can manage to get an enemy inside of a minion wave, it's going to hurt because all of those minions are going to freeze themselves, and then they're going to explode, dealing a whole bunch of damage that applies to everybody. So as you can see, the more targets you can put inside of your alt area, the more damage you're going to deal. When heroes, though, when they explode, they deal more damage. They deal more damage and have greater power scaling. Versus when non-heroes, when non-hero units shatter. So 5 heroes clumped together are going to shatter and deal more damage to each other than 5 minions. So just make sure that it's much more valuable if you get 5 heroes and get them to shatter and kind of get that chain reaction going. As you saw before there, you can see that I did some. So here is a fantastic showcase where all of these minions explode, deal a whole bunch of damage. I unfortunately die here, but look at how much damage I did to the rest of the team here. I think we get a kill or 2 out of this. So my efforts wasn't in vain there, as I saw that my team was, you know, kind of grouping around me. But that was a great showcase there of my ult getting applied on a whole bunch of people. Again, I've been support focused so far, so I have barely any additional power, but still look at all of this damage. Really quite something there that's only going to get better in the future. Now, the next card you're going to get is the Berserker Drive. I absolutely love this card because it gives you attack speed, which is great for Aurora, especially in the early game when you don't really have very much. But you also get mana regen, which I also find very, very good. Now you can actually see something what I was trying to do here with our charge. What you can do with your glacial charge is traverse terrain, and that's actually what I was trying to do here. You can, if you are farther back here, actually create barriers for the enemy or ramps for your friendly team to travel on. So you can use it as a geometry, as additional geometry on the map. You can get very creative scale areas like this. I'm not sure if this still works. You can block off entire entryways. Very creative. There's so many creative applications for this. There's really, I mean, you can see here where my ice went. It kind of goes through terrain. It's very weird. So like if you used it over here, you could block off the entire river down here. To interesting effect. So the applications are unlimited on this map. Not unlimited, but you get the idea. One additional thing you need to remember is that your freeze, when you make your enemies freeze, that's a stun. So I use my ultimate here not only because there's a Grux and a Gideon, but I use it in also a supportive role as a stun for that Gideon's ultimate. You need to take that into consideration if you are, like I am in here, the pseudo support for my team. Now the next few cards here in the build are an Adamant Edge. You can get that if you need some health and also some power. Now the next card that I go for here is the Chronomancer Disc. That cooldown reduction is unbelievably strong here on Aurora, since all of her abilities are just so damn powerful, especially obviously her Hoarfrost and her ultimate. So there's a lot of potential you can do here with the Hoarfrost and the ultimate. If you could shave off 10% of the cooldown, tons that you can do. At this point, I'm transitioning into more of a caster on Aurora than anything else. So when you are in these team fights, you are looking for that moment for you to use your glacial charge into your ultimate. You are just waiting. I go in here, the Bellica stuns me, and I'm like, nope, disengage. The failed attempt. That was just a failed attempt. So I'm like, oh yikes, let's get out of here. So you're just waiting for that moment. You're kind of, your ultimate is just really powerful. You really have to focus on nailing that at the appropriate times. You are really a very strong initiator, and that is exactly what I'm trying to do here. Where is that time when I can go in and ult? So here I chose this time here on when all of the enemy heroes there are on the minion wave. I chose to go in and I get out of there with my life. Again, that Frozen Simulacrum. Your right click where you can put a copy of you out there to take all the aggro is so damn good. As you can see, that really gave us the ability to get that Twin Blast pick, get a kill out of there, and get something out of that engagement. Now here is a good 1v1 trade here with this Bellica. I go in, use my Frozen Simulacrum as a start, just because I can probably get the cooldown off to when I need this. I choose to ult here because getting a little bit on the good side, but then too many minions around her to do that. I'm pretty sure I misclicked that one, as something wrong happened there. But look at how I used the Frozen Simulacrum to traverse terrain a little bit more to get out of that Grux. Fantastic. Didn't go exactly how I planned, but it was a good 1v1 trade where I got to use my ultimate, and she really didn't, as I was full mana. This is the final push of the game here as we have War Prime. Now the last few cards that I managed to get here in this game are very interesting here. Now I get the Thermobond here, which is right here, and what this Thermobond does is when any slows, roots, or stuns are applied on you, you get 12% of your health back. Now this 12% health is really effective because we are building tanky. As you can see, we have a tempered plate here, and that that guard is really going to help get more value out of the health that we get. Because you engage so hard with your glacial charge, you just get right in there. People usually end up using crowd control on you with slows, roots, stuns, etc. That only feeds the thermobond, which then feeds your health, which is then amplified by your guard and barrier that you get. So this tempered plate here really, really helps. Next is a shockwave of all things. For 2 seconds, you can slow nearby enemies by 250 max movement speed. Cooldown of 45 seconds. It's just another tool that you have to slow down the enemy and control them for your team. Obviously, that is incredibly powerful. Now, the only other cards that you didn't get to see in that game is actually this Meltdown and this Guardian's Ward. Really, this Guardian's Ward just replaces your Sage's Ward for some more power, and this Meltdown replaces your Berserker Drive. Meltdown, that little bit of pen goes a long way. Just a wee bit, really not too much, and honestly, we really could change this if we wanted to, but we don't have that much power, so in the math department, really doesn't make much sense. Other than that, guys, you upgrade the snot out of the health on the whole build before going for the barrier here on this thermal bond and you know, completing this tempered plate, but you want to just complete that anyways there in the late game. So once you get that tankiness, then you go into the Meltdown and the Guardian's Ward to get even more power in the late game, because you have the Centurion as your prime card, which really, really helps with your tankiness, which is important. You turn into a frontliner and an initiator. That is your role as Aurora in the late game, and that is simply it. So there you guys go. There is Queen of the North, my high CC Aurora build. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this guide, of this deck, and also my new hero building guide format. Let me know how you like this down in the comment section below. Please like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, share it with the community, and of course, guys, subscribe. You guys like this content, found it useful, please subscribe so I can do it for you in the future. Till next time, like always, stay optimistic and positive.